Welcome to 340 Health Assessment. My name is Kate Bahan, and I am your faculty for this summer. This course is 100% asynchronous, so this means that you have a lot of responsibility to kind of keep up with the work, make sure that you're doing the reading and submitting all the little projects along the way. Now, this is my cell here. This is preferred. Email's probably the easiest and most reliable way to get a hold of me, and then feel free to schedule times to meet with me if you need. This is a 2-unit class, and then there's a lab that goes along with it that's worth 1 unit. All right, let's scroll through. So our learning objectives, right, they're here in the syllabus. Hopefully you picked up the required textbook, the Bates book, which is actually a really good book. And there are used copies. You can also rent it if it's cost prohibitive. The recommended text APA, this one you can actually find online, Al at Purdue, so you can find resources if you're not able to purchase this updated APA, so don't worry too much. Now there are some computer specs that you'll need to have because our tests are all proctored through Proctorio, and so you'll have to have some certain amounts of minimal memory and things like that to actually take the tests, but we'll talk about that. Emergency preparedness, here's my office hours emails, netiquette, right? There's basic rules on just how to behave. Policies on civility. Feel free to read through these as you'd like. Our handbook that is available online, and I put the link in there. Now let's get to the good stuff, our course assignments. So there are tickets to class. They are worth 2 points each, and there are 4. So basically, if you think that each week you're going to have at least one thing to submit, and just be very aware that you're always going to be kind of moving forward. The tests are not cumulative, and so you'll only be tested on those chapters leading up to that week, and then the content of the week will be in the next test. There are 2 discussion board assignments as well, and then a case study. This is a group case study. I have it so that it sets you into groups automatically, and it sets a group leader. I know this can be uncomfortable for some, but it's one of those pieces that kind of puts you into a position that maybe you would not choose for yourself to give you the opportunity for that growth and development. So this one is not due till the end of the summer, but it's one of those things to start thinking about. Basically, there's a couple little sample patients. There's a little bit of information about it, and then you'll write up a case study about what are the symptoms that you're looking at, the systems you will assess, the teaching you would do, and those things. Now for the exams, there are 3 exams total, 20 points each, so 60 points, and they're all done online via Proctorio. Excuse me. Proctorio. I have them open for a couple days so that my day shifts can have time to do it, my night shifts can have time to do it. So just make sure that you're constantly aware of when those tests are open and give yourself enough time to actually excel in them. Grading and feedback. I try to be pretty fast on grading and feedback. You will see that. Here's the breakdown of when these are actually due. So tickets to class, there are 4 of them. This is actually just to engage you in your reading. So the idea isn't to Google the answers, but to actually pull it from what you're reading to keep you on track with the weeks as the summer progresses. The discussion boards, you're going to have, these are individual. You'll post your initial response, and then you will post a reply to one of your colleagues. And the prompts are already there. You just pick one of those prompts. You post it in the discussion board, and you won't be able to see the other posts until you do your original post. The 3 exams, we talked about this, 20 points each. Those are also individual, and they're in weeks 3, 7, and 10. Remember, it's a really fast little summer break. But in the end, you'll have this class done. Like, that's its own amazing. Then your case study we talked about, that is at week 9. This is not actually individual, this is group. I shall change that. Now, portfolium is a way that we kind of highlight our amazing achievements and our student work. And so at the end, you will take your case study paper, you will make whatever amendments on it then when I give you feedback, and then you upload it to your portfolio, and I'll put a link on the shelf for you to do so. Here's our grading scale. We actually just changed this last year, and so to get credit in this class, you'll have to have a 75 or above. We do not round in the School of Nursing, so just be aware. You should be able to kind of see how your grade is throughout the semester. Academic integrity, you are not allowed to have notes open during the test. You're not allowed to have search bars open, anything like that. And I'll remind you when we get time to test too. But if there's anything perceived as dishonesty, we just refer it straight over to academic integrity, and then they review it themselves. I expect you guys to be fantastic writers because you have made it this far. So you've got your APA resources, and I have some examples too for the writing part. Here's my breakdown. So I've got the chapters in the far right with kind of what I'd like you to do. This first week, we're going to be asynchronous. So you're just going to be posting that introduction, reviewing the syllabus, and then starting your chapters. Then as we get through, your first ticket to class is due on the 9th at 8 p.m. You'll see that all of them are due at 8 p.m. so that you can hopefully get a little bit of sleep instead of that 11:59 p.m. But those first few weeks are kind of all about setting the tone, getting a good health history, and then talking about some of the more sort of intuitive and touchy-feely kinds of aspects of being a stellar nurse, of being able to communicate effectively in those aspects. Then we get into the actual systems, right? And coming down through respiratory, cardiovascular. This one I highlighted just because the dates are a little bit off from the other exams because the class actually ends on the 6th. So you've got all of your breakdown, and then the modules themselves are separated by weeks. Here are my rubrics, the tickets to class. It's 2 points for each ticket to class. There's 4 total. And there are little pieces of the ticket to class, and you'll see the feedback on the ticket to class so that you can actually use that to study. This is the discussion board. Remember that you're going to have a minimum of 1 scholarly resource within 5 years. So you'll have a citation with your reference. You're going to make sure you have a lovely post, but look at the rubric before you post so that you're hitting all those little pieces. And here is my case study rubric. Same thing. Look at the rubric. There's going to be at least 3 of you in a group. And so make sure you divide up the assignment and kind of work off of each other's strengths. You can see that there are some sections that are worth a little bit more. And so make sure you're paying attention to those little nuances so that you can get the best possible grade. And then here is all of my learning matrices looking at the BSN program, my Qs and competencies, AACN, which is actually just changing, and then how I assess them in the class itself. So it's many, many pages, but I did a little walkthrough just to kind of give you an idea of what the class will entail. Again, this is very much a you-driven, so try to stay on top of it. Make sure you're doing your weekly assignments, whether it's a discussion board or a ticket to class, and then I have links for study guides and for little games and things to help you study along the way. I'll try to do like a video like this for the PowerPoints each week, just so you can hear my lovely melodic voice and get a feel for the pieces that I'm pointing out as particularly important. I hope you have an awesome summer. I'm excited that you've chosen this. Don't forget to keep up with your Shadow Health and your 340L assessments too, because they help strengthen the application of all of this information. I welcome you. We'll have a great summer.